it's time for the depression makeup tutorial. Yay! I suffer from depression. I've been pretty bad the last couple of months. I'm on sertraline at the moment, which has been really helping. And as I said in the video in which I broached this subject, I do not need your opinion on my medication or on my depression. Thank you. Unless it's like a nice one, unless you're going to say, oh, are you okay? In which case I'll say, yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine, yeah, I'm fine. Because that's what we do, right? Right. Firstly, I'm going to take a drink of water because my mouth tastes gross from the sleeping tablets that I'm also on. Okay. Yeah. So, firstly, we're going to moisturise because we probably don't take care of our skin very well because we're not very good at doing stuff. And so it's good to hydrate your skin with a moisturiser. I am using the Talika Photo Hydra Day moisturiser, and I'm only using that because it came in my glossy box, because that's all I can really afford right now because I haven't been at work, because I've been depressed. Okay, so other than that, pretty much everything in this tutorial will be so yeah, everything's going to be pretty affordable. So drugstore stuff. Hold on, let me bring you in a little bit closer to my big old face. There we go. Okay, so there, that's better. So you're probably pretty tired and don't really want to put some makeup on, but you might have to for some reason. I'm not telling you that you got to wear makeup to be happy, or that you should wear makeup. Totally up to you. But this might make things a little bit easier. Your skin's probably still pretty dry. I know mine is, because I don't drink enough water or eat good, because I'm a husk. So we're going to take some primer. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Magic Primer. This is an illuminating primer, so it'll make you kind of shiny, which could be a bonus. Just if you have a primer, put it on. If you don't stress. You don't, we'll see, it's fine. I'm just going to rub this on my face. Oh, all over my face. All over. Up here. And over here. And then up there. Underneath. And maybe a bit down there. Yeah. The foundation I use is this, which is Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid in light porcelain, number 4, light porcelain. And I found it's good. I like to apply it with a beauty blender. However, my beauty blender died and they're like 20 quid, and I don't have the money to do that because I've barely been at work the last 2 months. So I'm using one from Primark, which was like £1. I don't, it's not as good, but you make do, I guess. Normally I would use it wet, but I didn't prepare, and the only water I have is my drinking water, so I don't really want to go dunking. So I'm going to use it dry. Yep. I'll bring you in a little bit more because I actually learnt that, didn't I? There we go. So what I do is I put a couple of pumps, just a couple. You don't want to be too cakey, because then you got to take it off, you got to make sure it looks good. It's a bit of shit. I dot it around my face, kind of like that, all over. Just and it's quite good monotonous motion, so you know when your hand-eye coordination's a bit shitty, you can it's still pretty good. No. Take it down the neck, because if you're anything like me, you haven't left the house in a few months, so you're a bit hasty. Oh, I should probably tell you what I'm doing now, shouldn't I? I'm just dabbing, just bouncing it across my skin, and essentially sort of joining the dots. It sort of picks it up and deposits it around. And this isn't a hard technique. You can use a brush if you feel that you know, you're good with foundation, you've got enough of a knack of it that it's kind of in your muscle memory, and you still got it down, then do it whatever technique you feel works for you. I'm gonna have to use another mirror. Try and get it sort of to the hairline, but not, you know, with big clumps in the hairline, and just sort of go over and forget the words that you're going to say. If it is patchy, fuck it, because you've done your fucking best. This is the best you've been able to do in a while, and you're a fucking legend for being able to do it. As the saying goes, I think it's normally attributed to Winnie the Pooh, but I don't really know, as I've only ever seen it on Facebook. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Those who care about you won't give a shit what your makeup looks like. If people do give a shit what your makeup looks like, they can go fuck themselves. So, now, some of us have probably been sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, so we may have a slightly unusual under eye area. You can go in with just a sort of regular old concealer. You can also get colour correcting concealers. I'll open that up for you. There we go. This is from MUA. I'm not really sure how good it is, to be honest. I have it, I've not really used it much, but basically you're kind of using the colour wheel. So whatever colour your skin is, you're using the opposite side of the colour wheel to correct. So if you're red, the opposite side of the colour wheel is green. A good way to try and think of it is using the primary and secondary colours. If you're purple, what's the other colour out of the... no, fuck. Yeah, if you're... yeah. So you got your primary colours, red, blue and yellow. So if you're purple, you need to use a yellowy tone because it's the one that's not in purple. Does that make sense? And if you're red, use green because red is not in green. That's how I remember. It may be not helpful. So you may be red under the eyes. So if you're red under the eyes, maybe try using a green. If you're sort of purple around the eyes and on the lids, you can use a yellow or a peachy tone. Or you can just go in with this. This is cheap collection Lasting Perfection concealer. Yeah. Use a swipey motion. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, boop. If you've got any spots, you might have spots, you can go a little boop, boop, boop if you want. I generally, I do a little bit closer up there actually, because that's not really actually anywhere near my under eyes, is it? This is normally the best I can manage. Taking that beauty blender again, you don't have to wash it off or anything. I mean, wash it eventually, but not like between the two. And basically just using that same motion again, just patting it in. So take it up there. It gives a bit of just a brightness to the under eye, makes you look a little bit more awake. And less like a zombie. That's what we're going for. We're going for less like zombie, more like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where we're still a husk, but we are masquerading as a member of this fine planet Earth. Okay, chances are you might want to set that with a powder. I'll get onto that in a second, because I just remembered something else. If you're a cryer, you might have, I mean, we've kind of gone with the eyes. I mean, bags, you won't cover bags. Bags will still show, unfortunately. You can get like eye creams and stuff like that. I'm no skincare expert, so can't help you there, but I can show you how to plaster makeup over your face and look like an orb. But you might be like blowing your nose a lot, and you might get red around there. You can put that around it, but it can often end up looking worse because it'll just sit in the dry bits and look a bit shit. But that's up to you. If you feel better doing that, then go ahead. So yeah, setting it. This is Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in translucent. So I'm just taking a brush, I'm just sort of dipping it in on there and just sort of patting it underneath. You don't want to use a sweepy motion because that can just sort of brush the stuff away and leave a weird texture. Go under there, just sort of pat it in to set it. I have quite dry skin, so I try not to powder too much elsewhere, but just using the excess, I might just sort of go around under there and just do that. That's quite nice. Anyway, there's a chance that your fine motor skills might be a little bit taxed, so blending and all that sort of stuff might be a bit tricky for you. But what you can do is get things like these, which are the Rimmel, Scandaleyes and also Katte eyeshadow crayons, because they set. Same with these Maybelline 24-hour colour tattoo, and you can use your fingers with these if you want. So I'm going to go for the colour tattoo in Eternal Gold, which looks like this, and it's a sort of cream consistency, and I'm just going to take a bit of that over the lids, just patting, just sort of doing a mixture of a sort of patting sweepy motion. Like that. If you get it in the corner of your eye, then that's a free little highlight you've got there. What I would suggest is taking a fluffy brush if you have one, and just going along that edge, just to diffuse it a little bit, so it's not quite so. Okay. I'll zoom in a little bit more for you so you can see the despair in my eyes. It's not really despair anymore, I don't really feel feelings these days, which is a plus. And again, just dabbing, sort of a mixture of dabbing. Try and get it even. As you see, this one's a little bit shinier, so I'm going to go over a little touch more. I managed to get it underneath, but again, that's just all the fun. Again, I'm just going to take that brush, just diffuse that a little bit, just so it's a little bit softer on the edges. Then I'm going to wipe off my finger, as the actress said to the bishop. Sorry, I'm a little bit, I'm not apologising. I'm going to take this Scandaleyes crayon in Bluffing, which is a sort of, boop, 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 boop. Focus. Aye, there we go. Doesn't really show the colour particularly well anyway. I'm going to take that just on the sort of crease there, just very gently swipe it in the crease. And again, and using that same fluffy brush, I'm just going to diffuse that out. You do want to work quick, as they do set. So there. What you can also do is, because your on fleek eyeliner skills might be a little bit tested at this point, you can also just really softly use that same sort of pencil, just softly swipe along the lash line, just to define that lash line a little bit. So yeah, we're still using that crayon on the other side, so just gonna go along the lash line, as you can see, and just going along that lash line, just like that. I'm only taking about halfway across, and if you want you can just go in with the finger and just smudge it out a little bit. Now these are pretty waterproof, so if you are a crier, cha-ching. Now it's up to you if you want to do eyebrows. I like having eyebrows, so I do try and go for it, but I mean these little kits are pretty cheap. This is Barry M. Sorry I don't have any prices, but it's all like low end drugstore level. I think, like, well, it's not all, some of it I did get from my Glossy box, but those are good things, so good, give them a go. So I'm going to use one of these and an angle brush. You can just use pencil or leave them. Don't forget, this is all still entirely your choice. You don't have to do any of this. You can do some of it. You can do full face. You can do whatever you're comfortable with. These are just maybe some tricks for just doing it a little bit easier for when you're fucking knackered and a hole in time and space. So what I'm going to do... Oh, no, fucking zoom in again. Hold on. There we go. So I'm just using little strokes like that, just to fill it in a little bit, just darken it up a little bit. See, it's a little bit sparser there, so this would go in there. It's a little bit warm, it comes out warm on camera. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not doing the best job of this. And then I sort of gather all those end hairs together and try and make a bit of a point, and just extend it a little bit like that. And then just go over and give it a go. Number 2. Don't stress too much about them being even. Once again, those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. If they're taking the piss out of you because your eyebrows are wonky, tell them that you suffer from depression. They can go fuck themselves. You don't have to be that aggressive if you don't want to. And then just sort of, that one's not, look at the right, okay, so there's one, they're not the same at all. Yeah, that's happening, that's what's happening. Then I take a, where is it, here, one of these, there we go, it came in my Meron palettes. I just use it, sort of dab it, right, let's see if I can do this, like on the edge, like that, just sort of dab it there, and use that edge flat on, not perpendicular, let's say, and just sort of brush it through a little bit. It just kind of, it just sets it, and so it darkens it up a bit more. It just makes it look a little bit more consistent. No, dip in a bit. Oh god, what's going on? That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Okay, so that's eyebrows done. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take that pale highlight colour just on my finger and just bung a bit there, just brightens it up a bit and helps that edge between the gold and your skin. Okay, let's oh, my lips. My lips just terrified me, so I'm going to put some lip balm on. There we go, because yeah, lip balm's good as well, because we probably don't look after our skin, our lips either, because we probably don't drink enough water. Okay. Oh, that's better already. Right, mascara. Mascara's kind of a must. It makes a big, well, not a must. None of this is a must, but if you're going to do all this, you're going to have to do mascara. Again, if you're a cryer, go for waterproof. I'm not particularly, as I said, don't tend to feel feelings anymore. I'm just sort of nothing. Take your time. Your hands might be shaky, you might be knackered, your hand-eye coordination might be shit, you might be a bit sensitive and don't really want stuff going in your eye. Take your time, it's not a race. If you're doing makeup, try not to do it like half an hour before you have to go out, because that can just really stress you out. Try and do it a little bit earlier. You know, things like this, it's going to last, so don't worry. So I'm just going to pop some mascara on the top. I'm only going to bother with the top lashes because the bottom lashes may be slightly beyond my hand-eye coordination at the moment. See, makes a good difference. You can also curl them. The clippy things that can often open you up, make you look a bit more awake. But if you can't be bothered, yeah, it's fine. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take a sort of light beigey, creamy ivory colour and put that on my waterline. That can often make you look a bit less red, look a little bit less tired. Again, open that up a bit. I'm using the So Susan Hope Light crayon. I don't know how much this is. Again, glossy box. But pretty much all drugstore brands do a light coloured pencil. See? So that just opens it up a bit, makes you look a little bit less tired. It does look a bit odd first thing, because if you're not used to doing it, because it can make you look a bit, but you'll get used to it. Blush. You may want to do blush, as usual. It's not essential. I think I will, just because I'm looking a little bit sallow. So I'm going to use this, which shows up really light on that camera. It is much darker and pinker than that. That's really not representative, that just looks grey. But hopefully it will look correct on the screen. I'm just going to use the same brush that I put my powder on because I'm lazy. Just a little bit on there, tap it off if there's too much, just sort of go like that if you get too much. Force a smile. You know what that feels like. And just like that, if you want. It's not really made a difference, has it? If you're not really feeling your blush after you've done it, you can always go over the area with that beauty blender that will still have some product on it, and just sort of dab over, and it will often sort of just smooth it out, take a bit of the colour out. If you want. Oh yeah, I've got a highlighter crayon thing here. This is by So Susan as well. Again, it's not a brand I would choose to buy. It's from glossy box, but you can get these little highlighter crayons again anywhere. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit along the cheek here and just dab it on to blend it through. A little bit there, same again. I'm not going to do a dark lip because that involves way too much work. I'm going to take a sort of slightly nudish, don't like the term nude, a mocha. I'd call that mocha. Yeah. This is Whipped Velvet by MUA Luxe. It's sort of like it's kind of like a gloss, but it's got a matteness to it. So with that, it's got a doe foot applicator, like that. And it's kind of just a little wash of colour. It doesn't really need a okay. Doesn't really need a liner or anything. I mean, you can use a liner if you think that a liner is within your capabilities at this time. Then that's fine. Go ahead and do that. That's pretty much it. Yeah, hopefully that'll make things a little bit easier for you guys, because it does suck having to put up with this shit. Makes you tired and just a bit loopy. I'm a bit loopy today. Yeah, some other tips. Normally, I would say don't use face wipes because they can actually be quite bad for your skin. However, when you're depressed, just fucking use what you've got to do. I recently got these in a set. They're for sensitive skin, which your skin might be quite sensitive at this time. Again, because you might not be drinking enough water or eating too well. You know, too much, not enough, wrong stuff, that sort of thing. It came in a kit with some micellar water and a moisturiser, which is here, in a little bag, like makeup bag, in Tesco for £5, which is entirely affordable. Zoom out a little bit for you again. So yeah, I know, you know, we always say it, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. Hopefully your loved ones will understand. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes it'll be hard. I have found recently that honesty is the best policy. Like, I, for want of a better term, came out to my boss, and he has been so supportive because of it, because I just came to him and said, this is happening, I'm having a rough time, you know, and he's been really supportive. I mean, I may just be lucky. Yeah. You'll get through it. Well, you might not. I'm not gonna take the piss. I'm not gonna say you're gonna get through it. You might not. You might live with it your whole life. But we just got to try and manage it. Be kind to yourself. People do love you. Try and do some things that you like. Try not to just sit in front of the TV or YouTube like I've been doing for the last 2 months. Also things like this. Colouring books, they really help. I've really found they've helped. They've also helped me back in work. I work in a call centre, and it's actually really helped me handle being back at work. Obviously, not everyone has the luxury of being able to do colouring in at work. But yeah, so that's it. I hope that helps. Obviously, as I said, you don't need makeup to feel better. But you never know, it might just help you face the day. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.